Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Bella. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. I have my what solds from basically the last 24 hours. Everything that's sold, it's a total of 4 items, 1 from Poshmark, 3 from eBay. So it was a little bit of a slower weekend, but still great sales, still good items going out, and it's always great when you're getting items at such a great price. And you'll see, I'll break it all down for you, that, these are great sales. So I can't wait to show you. So let's get right into it. This I love. If you've been a long time follower of my channel, I just love J. Jill in general. Makes a few different lines within her line. This is the Pure Jill line. This is a small, petite, like knit it's almost like a poncho, but it does have sleeves. So this, I believe this came from the Salvation Army. So I had a $3 in cost of goods for this. Let's see, 65% cotton, 35% polyester. In general, with J. Jill, she has a wearable line as well, which is supposed to be like, you don't have to iron it or something. I guess you could just pretty much throw it in a suitcase and there's no wrinkles to it. I learned that recently. There is this Pure Jill line. There is a Love Linen J. Jill line as well, and I think that's just 100% linen. J. Jill is an amazing bread and butter brand. It's very well known. It's pretty expensive. When it retails. So if you come across J. Jill, it's usually worth a look up. This in general, this was a small petite, which I don't typically try to pick up sizes that are small petite, but I liked this because it was unique. It's got the bottom, it almost looks like a little like rug type thing. It was a good color. So I figured this was very unique and it would sell even, and I really didn't have it long, just a couple of months. So it sold for $17.40. I did have $3 cost of goods into this. So my estimated profit after fees, cost of goods, and there was a little bit of shipping overage. Everything, again, friends, is just an estimate, $13.75. So this will be going out today to the buyer. J. Jill, especially even the lines that are like not just the J. Jill, like I just said, the wearable line, the Pure Jill, the linen line, those are typically even better to pick up because they're more unique, materials and, fabrics. And yeah, that was the case with this Pure Jill. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on with my hair. I'm not really sure exactly with the Pure Jill what that means in general. I should look that up. That's the only one that I'm not overly sure of. Like the linen, like I said, it's a linen line of hers, and the wearable is just, packable dresses and things like that. I don't even know, does anybody use an iron anymore? If there's anyone out there that uses an iron, please let me know. I think I am from the generation, like, I feel like I had an iron. Yes, I did. I had an iron on my wedding registry. I do believe I got an iron, but I've never used it. Let me know in the comments. Does anybody use an iron? My husband said that on the weekends, his parents would spend like over an hour or so ironing my father-in-law's shirts for work. And I just can't even imagine people allotting time to iron. And like, I don't know, I used to have to iron shirts for a waitressing job, which I only would have to do it there's supposed to be no wrinkles, but there would always still be wrinkles. So that was years and years ago, even before I was married. And that's the last time I honestly remember using an iron. So I don't know. I always remember my grandma always was using an iron. So I think my generation lucked out. No, I'm not using an iron. And I like, can you even buy an iron at Walmart anymore? You probably can. I'm just like, I don't know. Definitely on Amazon, I'm sure. All right, so this will be going out today. This was eBay. I'm excited to show you the next item that sold. Where am I putting that today? Okay. This is a brand that I wasn't quite aware of. I did pick this up at a church sale for only $1. And so right off the bat, like, I don't think I noticed when I was at the church sale that it was missing a button. Like, here's this, and it's missing a button. This is definitely vintage. The brand is called Design Pitons by Phil and Jane Gordon. It is 81% silk, 19% cotton, made in China. It has shoulder pads. This is cute. I'm thinking like this would be perfect for a teacher back to school. This just gives me like all the fall vibes. So maybe that's where it's going. I love to pick up vintage sweaters. They're typically a great, the crazier the prints, the better. Cats, dogs, flowers, usually back to school stuff, even apples, pencils, anything that looks like it could be worn by somebody that's a teacher, a pet enthusiast, all the things you could think of. Christmas sweat. It's not just Christmas sweaters. I love picking up vintage Christmas sweaters, but this was, and here, I'll show you the back, just really cute. And what I did was I just disclosed it was missing the button. There was a moment that I was thinking, should I maybe just redonate this? But I'm glad I didn't, because it sold. This one sold on eBay, and honestly, I had to go back through because I was like, did I not notice the button was missing? And I wanted to double check that I disclosed it in the listing, and I did. I was like, whoo, because I've had this a couple months. I think this was picked up the end of April at a church sale. So it sold for $25. My estimated profit, $20.08. So don't discount, friends, the vintage sweaters. These are like, I'm assuming these are like sunflowers, but I don't think sunflowers turn purple, but they almost look like sunflowers. Really, really cute. Somebody's going to enjoy this sweater, hopefully for years to come. And that's just another point to prove that even damaged items missing a button, there was not an extra button here to include with this even. I cannot sew a button. I should know how to do that, but I cannot do that, and I just disclosed it. And actually, within the last month, I also sold a Banana Republic, and I think it was also part silk, that was also missing a button and did not have a button, and it still sold as well. Disclose, disclose, disclose. Don't lose out on those sales just because something is slightly damaged. Obviously, either the person, and because it's at the top, they really don't have to, in my opinion, put another button there, but they obviously can sew, or they don't care, or whatever. So, this is a vintage piece. This is something unique. They're not going to be able to find everywhere. So yeah, and this brand in general, look it up because they have really great comps. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes finding good vintage things, but this, I am so glad. I have one particular church sale that I go to in the fall, in the fall and the spring each year, that typically I do walk out with about, between 5 and 10 vintage sweaters, between Christmas ones, just 90s style, anything. This stuff is all in, and I had quite a few watchers on this. This had about 10 watchers before it sold. So sent out an offer today for this and it sold. So just keep that in mind. Still 90 degrees outside. We are still selling sweaters. Everything sells. Okay, this also sold on eBay. I picked this up less than a week ago. Sold over the weekend. Really cute. This is Sue's Engraver. It is a size medium. It has little gems all over it. And so I was looking at this yesterday. I had it up, and I've been talking a lot about Sue's Engraver. Sue's Engraver in general, for me, has been new to me this year. Like, I'm really starting to look for her stuff, to look for, mostly plus size stuff, but this was in the boutique sale that I went to last week, I had about a $2 cost of goods for everything. And I did go a little bit back and forth about it, but it was so unique. The gems, it's a beautiful color, just really bright, cheery. She has good stuff, Susan Graver. It has a great following. Did somebody recently tell me QVC? I feel like it's sold on QVC, but let me look at the tag, because at one point, see if it says. Okay, sometimes I think QVC. I'm like 90% sure. And yeah, it just has gems all over it. And like I said, it had a lot of watchers beforehand, and it was only up really like 5 days. So I had a good feeling about this when I saw it had so many watchers. So I sent out an offer for $18.49. They did accept that. After fees and cost of goods, my estimated profit, $16.62. So last week, I do have a video for that. I will try to remember to link it down in the comments again, just talking about what I picked up at this boutique sale. This is the third item that has sold out of the boutique stuff. In total, I got 22 items from that sale. And this item now puts me into profit for everything that I got within a week. So I even got some stuff for my family, a shirt for my husband, a couple pairs of pants for my son for back to school. And I'm now into profit with these items. So I picked up in under an hour, I just kind of scoured through. I sold a bra already, a shirt, and this shirt as well. So definitely be on the lookout, Susan Graver. If it's a unique print, you know, I don't know, maybe mediums I need to do, maybe all of her stuff sells. Let me know in the comments. If you're selling Susan Graver pretty frequently, let me know. Is it certain sizes do better? Like, I just in general find that plus size items in my store are the most popular, are the most likely to sell in a good amount of time. So that's why I, you know, typically say, oh, I'm picking up plus size, or I start in the plus size area at stores like Salvation Army and thrift stores. And even with this boutique sale, I started in the plus size area and just kind of went through seeing what they had. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that I'm already, you know, making profit off of all those items that I got last week, which is a great turnaround time. So, all right, yes, that is going out today. Susan Graver, put it on your list to keep an eye out for. I would definitely say unique pieces. Like this one was just bright, beautiful colors. I'm, you know, that is what I'm looking for. Probably in general for most brands, I'm looking for pieces that, you know, stand out above the rest, like that other that buyers are going to be looking for. So just keep that in mind when you're out there looking. I like to just keep a list. So if you have an iPhone, and I'm sure Android phones do this as well, there's a notes section in the iPhone in general. Like you could just write down things like your grocery list, or remember this for later to put on your calendar or whatever. So when I learn about a new brand or something starts selling really well, I keep notes in my phone so that I'm able to, you know, when I'm out looking around, like, and I'm thinking to myself, sometimes there's so many brands. So I'll be thinking, have I heard of this brand before? And I go to my phone just to double check and see, had I heard another reseller talk about it? Is it a brand that I found like once and I haven't seen since? And did it sell good for me? It's just a good idea to have that right at your fingertips to be able to look it up. And, you know, just comping something in general will let you know very quickly if something is good to sell. So, all right. And this is a tried and true, also bread and butter, Lauren Ralph Lauren. This is a 1X long sleeve purple. Everybody loves purple. There is no pony on this. Oh wait, it just says RXL or RLL. You know, monogrammed on there. Really nice. This was also a Salvation Army pickup. This was the only Poshmark sale. And yes, plus size. So this was pretty basic for me to pick up, but it was Ralph Lauren. I got it for $3 at the Salvation Army, and that was really the reason I picked it up. It was a good price, good size, and really looks like brand new. Like nothing, tags have been ripped off. Maybe they washed it once and wore it, maybe. I don't know. It honestly looks like it's never been worn. So yeah, Ralph Lauren also, I like to pick up unique pieces, colorful, bright. You know, there's some really, really great Ralph Lauren items out there for great money if you can find them. I've seen, I had a sweater a few years ago that had an American flag on it, and it was a kid's sweater even, and it sold for like $50. So if you can find those unique pieces, I know there's also like a bear pattern on some clothes or sweaters from Ralph Lauren. That's a good pickup. And yeah, so this is just a nice staple piece people like to have in their wardrobe. So, and the size was right, the price was right. So this sold on Poshmark for $23. My estimated profit after fees, cost of goods, $15.40. This is going priority mail on Poshmark in the Tyvek mailer here. I'm gonna get that out today. I love using these mailers because they're free. You can get them at the post office. And a lot of times, you know, post office, if you don't want to have a bunch of them around or you just need a few, you know, this time of year, when I'm not having as many Poshmark sales, I typically will just grab one of these mailers or like 5 or 6 of them at a time and keep them in stock at my house. But usually, and this is just a tip for the end of September, October, I like to order a bulk amount of these mailers because at times, now this was more during COVID and a little bit after, they were running out of these online and I couldn't get them and I didn't know what to do. So just because, and also just when you're entering Q4 in general, they're more highly, obviously people are selling more things around that time of year. So, you know, it's worth it. Stock it up for yourself and they will ship it right to your house, or you can, you know, if you have a P.O. box or whatever, you can just pick it right up at the post office. You just go right online to the United States Postal Service website, and there is a section online there that you can just look. I think it's just called free shipping supplies. And yeah, they don't charge you a shipping fee to get it shipped to you, nothing. So that is definitely beneficial. You know me, I like to use my fun, these bags, whoop, this way. I like a little color in my life, but you know, it is free. It's a good way to save some money. Save yourself some money because everything is going up always in cost. In the post office, it's like every 6 months we're going up in price, but thankfully like eBay especially offers discount when you print your labels online. So that generally works out pretty good for me. And when I talk a lot about shipping overage, that is also coming from because eBay is offering such a great discount for shipping your items through them. And it would be a lot more to go to the post office and print your labels there. So highly recommend printing your labels from home, investing. If you're serious about reselling, invest in a thermal printer. Highly recommend. I'm looking at my thermal printer right now to tell you what it is. It is a Zebra 450. Now, I've had this a while. I've had this printer probably 6 years, maybe even more. I bought it off a friend. It's great. I just buy the labels on Amazon. You get like 500 for 15 bucks at the most, and you're good to go. You don't have to buy any ink. And when you're printing as much as I am, like ink would be a lot of money. And it prints it right up, cuts it up, and it's ready to go. And you just place it on your envelope and it's off to the buyer. So highly recommend a Zebra printer if you don't have one, or just a thermal printer in general. So, all right, friends, that's everything that sold within the last couple of days. So that's 4 items going out. Pretty happy with that. you know, one of the days it was a little bit lower in sales, but we're moving back up. I have a feeling that everybody is going to start shopping here soon. I feel like I know a lot of people getting like their last minute summer vacations in. So if this week is a little slower, that could be why. I know so many people that are taking vacations this week. So just keep that in mind. Keep listing, keep finding those great sales, grabbing those items for an amazing price. This is the year, this is the time of year, and checking out those sales, you know, just even if it's a store you haven't been in a while, just head on in, see what they have. And that was basically what I did last week. I just on a whim went to my favorite winter thrift store, and things are already selling. I'm already into profit from the amount of items from everything I got last week. So, all right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, like the video, send it to a friend. I put out about 2 to 5 videos per week, mostly what sold videos, but also thrift hauls, when I'm going to church sales, rummage sales, what I'm picking up. I am also on Facebook now, Hyper Focus Thrift. I am gonna try to get more going on that as the summer winds down and my kids are going back to school. So look for me over there. And I love all your comments and everything that's selling for you guys, and just telling me about brands and what's working for you in your reselling business, because we're in this together, you know? And that is why you should thrift with friends, because thrifting with friends makes it more fun, right? Okay, so I will see you guys soon, and then hopefully very soon, with more what solds and happy thrifting. Find all the good stuff, and I will see you all soon in the next video. Bye-bye.